Well, good morning. My name is Jim Kennedy. I used to be somebody, and now I'm an unpaid MC for a living. I love it. Life is grand. Actually, I did have one function today that was a very serious and important function, which was to take care of the weather. I think I did a pretty good job at that part. Our program's going to be relatively short this morning. There's plenty of good food that Brownstone has prepared that you can stick around after the few people chat and a few speeches. But I'd like to start off by just mentioning some of the people that are here. I'm sure I will miss some. I didn't take the original notes, but I'm the guy you blame if you think you're important and I didn't call you. First, from the freeholders, we have Al Fiella, the county manager. Al, where's Al? We also have with us Mohammed Jahal, who just left a few minutes ago, was here from the freeholders, and of course, last but certainly not least, Chris Hudak, the chairman of the freeholder board. Where's Chris? And in the line of mayors, we have Dan Ryman from Carteret. Where's Danny? Danny has one of the photos on the wall of shame. I mean, on the wall here. Project that will be coming up this coming year, actually, right over here. We also have with us Mayor Holly from Roselle, up here. And of course, Mayor Grabunka from the city of Linden, which will hear a few words in a few minutes. Council from Linden, we have Bob Sadowski, James Moore, we have Derek Armstead here, we have Peter Brown here, and Chris Callis. I think I got Calibus. Are there any other Linden Council people that are here? Okay. Oh, here's one on the phone. Can't have it. Also from Rawway, the most important councilman in the world, Dave Brown, my former council president, and a guy that helped us to get a lot of things done in Rawway. Let's see. We also have, I think that's pretty much it on the celebs. So without any further ado, I'd like to have Mayor Grabunka come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Jim. And I'd like to welcome everybody here. Besides being a great builder, George Capadagli knows how to throw a good party, too. This is an exciting day for the city of Linden. I'm excited about it. I know all my council people are excited about it, and a lot of city residents are excited about it, because what you see behind me is the revitalization of Wood Avenue in the city of Linden. When this gets completed, George Capadagli is going to go across the street and do the same thing, and when that's finished, from Linden Avenue, where the Linwood Tavern is, to the railroad trestle, again, George is going to work his magic there also. And I'll tell you what, I didn't know George until we went into a redevelopment agreement with him. And I've dealt with many builders, being the mayor for the last 7 years and a councilman before that. And I'm always a little shaky of builders because they promise you the world and they never deliver. But that man there sat at my office many a time and said, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And he delivered. George Capadagli is a man of his word. And George, I respect you for doing that, and I appreciate everything you're doing for the city of Linden. June 17th, 2003. Nobody knows the significance of that date, but I do. That was when we went into a redevelopment agreement with Verge Industries to do exactly what George Capadagli is doing here. June 17, 2003. We went to court, we defaulted the individual. 11 years later, George took the baton. On May 14th, 2013, we signed a redevelopment agreement with George Capadagli. And look at what's being built now. And again, that's why I'm so pleased that the City of Linden is partnering with Capadagli Builders and all his competent staff. And again, and I guarantee you, 4 or 5 years, you're going to see in Northwood Avenue and Southwood Avenue a revitalization that's going to make all the communities envious of the city of Linden. And I guarantee you that in 4 or 5 years, we're going to have a little Hoboken or a little Jersey City. And again, George, I thank you for your vision. I thank you for your support. And you know that you have a partner in Linden anytime you need us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. We must feel proud today. It's a great day for the City of Linden. Speaking of the City of Linden, we have Chris Hudak. You want to come up? Chris is the chairman of the Freeholders Board, but he's also a homegrown item here in the City of Linden.
Thank you, Mayor. You're still someone. I'd like to think so. I guess Mohammed and I got the invites today because we're on a county road, which we appreciate you guys building up the streetscape here. This was a project that, for too long, as the mayor said, was defined by its inability to launch. And so I want to commend the mayor and the council people for doing the right thing. You put the politics aside, came together after you got through the litigation involving this property, brought on a good, competent builder, and the fact that we're seeing the building go up and go up quickly is really a testament to that. So this is a very proud day for the City of Linden. The county is going to be here to support you with whatever you need on this particular project. And, you know, looking at what's happened in Galway, Cranford, many towns that have these transit hubs and have seriously committed to bringing in good builders and defining the most valuable real estate you have. You know, it's great to see it in other communities, and I'm very proud as a Linden resident to see it happening here. So an excellent job by all the stakeholders who were involved, coming together and doing the right thing for the taxpayers in this town. It's going to be a great development. Thank you.
Very well said. You know, having been mayor for 20 years, people often ask me, how did you get so much done? And it's really about cooperation. It takes an effort from sometimes both sides of the aisle, sometimes from one side of the aisle, you know. But I got to give Linden a lot of credit. This coming down Wood Avenue today is sparking really a remarkable little town. My parents both grew up here and graduated from Linden High School many years ago. Both are deceased now, but. Linden always had such a vibrant business district, and you know, as a retailer, I can tell you that's more difficult to do than one might think. The fact that you have such a vibrant central business district at the same time when you have a very active highway says a lot about the city and the people in the city of Linden. So the people of Linden really deserve a great hand for keeping it together. My wife loves Linden. I think she spends more time here with her friends, Anne Marie and the crowd, than she does in the Rowway group here. But great little town. You know, often wonder what makes a town click and what doesn't. Rowway sat idle for many years. George was a very big part of that, along with other players. But when you talk about getting something done, I can tell you this firsthand. There is no one like Meridia and George Capadagli that moves so fast. You're looking at 60 days right here behind us, and don't blink because it happens very quickly. Janine, his wife, has got to be the most patient woman on the face of the earth. Janine, you want to just wave to everybody here? And the reason I mention that is what's so important about one of the things that I really get a kick out of Meridia is the family structure. George, it's not just George, it's his whole family that makes this work, his daughters, and George will introduce them in a little bit. But when you get George, you get the whole team. And when you go to rent the building, his daughter will be in there, making sure that people are paying the right prices and giving you a fair deal. The type of living that he's creating in a lot of these towns, in Rowway and Linden, Hackensack, and the boards are up here, are very interesting because the group, the millenniums that we all hear so much about, are people that want to live near transportation, primarily around train stations, and that's why this is so important, but also around arteries, mass arteries, where people can become mobile and get to wherever they work. And it's a whole different lifestyle. My son moved into one of the buildings in Rahway. He's 31 years old. And, George used to say at these, I'm stealing his thunder here, but he used to say, these kids, the street is their living room. And it's true. My son, who loves to cook, eats out every night. He's at a little local restaurant, and that's the vibe that you're trying to create to make a central business district work, and the communities are kind of coming back to what they had been at one point, where people want to live and work around a hub. And so this type of housing is I knew that wasn't one of Capadaglia's trucks. It wouldn't be running. Mayor, could you do something with this guy? The style of living is something that you're going to see more and more. They don't want to cut grass. They want to have a 25-pound dog and a girlfriend, not even all the time a wife, but they want an apartment, and it's a whole new world. So without any more from me, I'd like George to come up and tell us about Meet the Man of the Hour, who has created the whole atmosphere here tonight, including the food, which, by the way, is great. And don't forget Bronson.
Thank you all for coming. I guess if I had to thank anybody, I had to thank God for, first of all, trusting me with this gift. And I hope and I pray that I'll be able to pay it forward. I thank Mayor Kubunka and his staff and for believing in us, and the council for believing in us. They didn't know us. They had heard of us, but they didn't know us. The town officials that have been working around the clock, my guys really push the envelope. They work very unusual hours, and they really push the envelope. And your people in your town have been tremendously accommodating to us. I mean, they've allowed us to work unusual times and hours, and I do thank you for that. I'd like to thank Amboy Bank, the people that gave us the money. Without that, Jim Mikey and who is here representing them, without them, nothing really becomes reality. I tell people, without dough, you have no go. I mean, that's the bottom line. And they came up with the money, and it was, it was a little bit of a stretch because there's never been this kind of money put into an area, and I believed, and they saw the belief from the town. They saw your commitment vis-a-vis your tax incentives and everything else, and your quickness to move the project forward. And the bank said, if the town's on board and you're on board and we know you can do it, we'll get on board. And I thank Amboy Bank for believing in us. The people that really created the vision is CPA Architects, and Chris Pereira and his team, and Albert, who really are the people that come up with the concepts. And it's hard because I'm not an easy guy to work for, really. I can, I'm very demanding on me. I'm very demanding on everybody. Most of the people that work for me know that I start at 2, 3 every morning. The emails start going out every morning. They're laughing, the people that work for me, but that's my hours. I start 2, 3 in the morning and I work until 11, 12 every night. I mean, that's what I'm used to working. That's my work routine. And they've like had to hear me say no, don't like it, after they've put hours into projects. And no, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And a lot of times when we signed off on it, we learned new things, and let's do it again. We're not going to stick to something just because we thought that was the right thing. If we see something, we change. This building itself is being changed as we're doing it. Not the outside or anything, but the inside. We're getting feedback from our marketing people that, this needs to be different. We need a bigger bedroom. We need this, we need that. They're going to reframe they've redesigned these buildings. I'm gonna go back to the plan, not anything structurally, but walls are moving, bedrooms are getting bigger, this is getting different. And one of the things I do, every building and every contract, when they put up the first floor of every building, I must walk through every apartment. I must sign off, and I go through with the marketing people. We look through every apartment when the walls are up. We'll see the flames starting to go up. We'll see every type of apartment, which is a lot different from what they draw and what we see. Not that they draw anything incorrectly, but once the walls are up, then we, you know, you get a vision of what it really is. And then we say, nah, why don't you move that, why don't you move that? So we do that constantly, and I thank them for their tolerance. One of the people that particularly, you know, very, very appreciative has helped us guide us through this is Bob Goldsmith, Jim Kennedy. They really, Bob is probably one of the quintessential redevelopment attorneys in the state. I mean, this is a whole other arena. I mean, we come from, you know, a building world, but redevelopment has got so many subtle nuances. I mean, it's a legal process that you just don't have a lot of time to learn it. So you have to defer to guys like Bob and to Jim and to my, to the corporate attorneys that I have, Jeremy and Doug from Shane Price that have directed us in this thing. Because the irony of it is this company is growing so fast that we're like climbing on top of each other. We're hiring people all the time, and because you folks are giving us opportunities, you're asking us to come into your towns and work, and we really appreciate that God has trusted us with this gift to be able to do this, and we'll tell you a little bit more, and I appreciate that. Thank you again for the many people that come here to help us celebrate this rejuvenation of a town. That's really, and Jimmy said it very well, we really, you know, and I'll use an analogy like the Statue of Liberty. You know, we're like, give us your tired, your weak, your huddled masses. We go into places that people aren't. I mean, we're not looking for the, you know, we're not looking for the $3,000-$4,000 rents. That's not our market. We're looking for the middle. We're looking for where most people live, in the middle. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the middle ground. We're looking for the people. We're looking for the millennials. We're looking for the average people where there's the most of us that are in the middle. And that's what our market is. And that's what we gear, and that's what we build towards. And all our marketing and everything is towards the middle. And a lot of the towns have been overlooked, especially the towns that are at the train stations, because everybody wants the high-line people. They want the expense. They want the $3,000-$4,000. They want the Hoboken, the Jersey Cities, the Morristowns, the Red Banks. Everybody wants that. I think that's a finite commodity myself. It's not our model. It's not our mission. So this kind of an atmosphere is perfect for us. I'd be really remiss without thanking my staff and the people that made this possible. I tell people that one jackass can only pull a wagon so far. You know, that's the bottom line. And if any of you remember, there used to be a box called Boratine. It was a washing thing, and they used to put 20 mules on there because 20 mules pull a wagon further than one jackass can pull it. You know, and I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the people that made Meridia. I mean, they make it. I mean, I tell people now, I meet people all day long. Half of, like, tomorrow when I'm in my office, which they allow me to use, I'd go in there and I'll meet 10 people. And I tell the people that I meet that are seeing me in interviews, I'm just meeting you. I don't virtually run the company anymore. I'm meeting you and see where you potentially can fit, and then I'll just hand you off to somebody else if you do fit. So that's what I do. That's what I do. That's my job. And I find properties, and I try to keep up with school. I do a lot of schooling, and I do things like that. But guy that sat at the table with me and 3 other people, Henry, I mean, he's instrumental in making this thing happen. Pat Barton came back. He is the quintessential builder. He's the guy that'll get it done. I mean, he's the guy that'll make sure that it'll get done. My daughter Kimberly, who runs the marketing, and her group, Brian, and their whole staff that are here. I mean, we're going to open up a building in Boundbrook that no one would ever have gone to Boundbrook a year ago. We went to Boundbrook. We put up 240 units in less than a year, or a little more than a year. we put up, and Saturday we're opening that building for rent. I mean, and that's what we do. By the way, we don't exactly have permission to do it, but we ask for a lot of forgiveness, I gotta tell you. You know, it's like, you know, it may not be the politically correct thing to do, but we get it done. Matter of Jimmy called me was it last year, he said, George, you know you guys are working on Easter, they're framing a building in the parking lot of in Norway. I said, well, is there a fine or something we have to pay? I said, well, let's pay the fine. I mean, the guys want to work. I mean, you know, they want to work. So it's Easter. They'll go home half a day and they'll go eat Easter dinner, I guess. You know, but more people are geared to that. I mean, they appreciate the opportunity. You see the guys working. They want the opportunity. Like Dave Brown gives a bunch of guys, they wanted to work. They came from work. They want to work. You got people who want to work. We want to put people to work, local people to work. We appreciate that. But like Brian, Pat, and Kid, who's gonna, if you indulge us, he's gonna show you a video. I mean, these kids are into stuff I can't even understand what they're doing right now. It's getting into stuff that is like a little bit beyond, a lot beyond it. But we've now just done our first pilot video to tell the people what we're about, and he's got it on the back screen if you'll indulge him. If you want to watch it, you're welcome. And it gives you an idea of who we're really about. I mean, this is the first cut he's going to do in a little while, but I thank them all for, you know, the great people that make my vision become a reality. A special thanks, really, to my beautiful wife, my daughters, my grandchildren, my son-in-law, that allow me to do what I do. If you know me and you have hanged with me, I'm out every night of the week. My wife hasn't, not that she's a bad cook, but my wife hasn't cooked a meal for me in years. Matter of fact, our new house we're going to build, I think we're going to have a kitchen in it. It's the truth. Well, I like this kind of living. This is me. I come out of Brooklyn, I like it. We're building a brand new, a boutique apartment house for me and 45 of my friends. It's going to be like a clubhouse. And we're going to put a common kitchen in it. And it's just like, I like that kind of living. I like to hang around. I love your city streets. I like to walk. My daughters like it. We all like the cities. We like this environment. This is us. And you people, I mean, you have a train, you have everything. And one of the things, and I thank my daughters and my grandson here. Hi, Poppy. That's your building, yes. But I thank them for allowing me to pursue my passion, because I really, it is a passion for me. It is a passion for me. And one of the mission of this company is really, and it really is to create a product that serves the people that we just defined, but it's also to give back. I think the sum total of a human being, and you can believe in a lot of things, whether it's commandments, Torah, whatever that is, but I think the sum total of a human being is what you do for another person. And I think that's one of the things that we're very, very attuned to. I mean, we, as a company, we tithe the proceeds from all of the buildings we distribute to the people in the company. We're very attuned to helping up people. I mean, we have programs to help the people in the building that can't pay, if they have legitimate reasons for not paying. It's a business with a heart, really. I mean, and we're trying to give back what's been given to us. That's really important to us. One of the things is that our buildings are probably way ahead of a lot of the buildings, that I'm not knocking anybody else. The things you're going to see in our buildings, you're not going to see in any other buildings, especially of this caliber. Like, for example, in our buildings, there isn't a key in the whole building. Not one key in the whole building. You live in a Meridia project, in a Meridia building, you have a key fob. I can't take it around as an example. You have a fob. This fob opens the garages, the front door, the elevator, your apartment, the gym, everything. We and you have total control of your surroundings. You totally know everything that's going on around you. We can access you at any time. Cameras, there are at least, in this building, there will be at least 70 cameras that you can, or your wife. We built buildings, I'm very tuned to build, I have 4 daughters and a son, and a wife of yours. I built a building to make sure that my daughters and my wife and your mothers can walk in that building at any time. It's got to be safe, like my hallways are extra large. Cameras, we have cameras all over the building. So if you want to access, if you want to pull into my building and walk down my hallway, you can look at your smartphone at any time of the day and see 70 cameras. Before you pull into a parking space, before you walk down a hallway, not that you could see the perimeter of the building. You're a young lady coming home at night, either from work or from wherever, you know what you're going into. You know, you should be in a, I'm very protective of people. It's very, as a father, it's important. So that, we have that. The other thing is, we have a system that if someone wants to call you, or they want to come to the building to see you or drop something off, it goes immediately to your smartphone. You see the person, you know who the person is, you can talk to the person, or you elect not to talk to the person. We tell people, if you don't have a smartphone, we'd have to buy you one to live in the building. You couldn't live in the building. You couldn't live in the building. A few years ago, I couldn't live in the building because I don't know how to work it. But that, I mean, and the things like the fobs, the voice-activated videos, inside you're going to see granite, or everything is granite or quartz, everything is wood flooring. As a matter of fact, I went to Portugal and making flooring for me. I'm bringing in. The containers are coming in as we speak. I'm having custom-made flooring for me, just for my product. And then we bought a factory. My wife and I went out there, I guess last year, and we bought up almost all the production in the factory to make flooring that I want. That's coming. All cherry cabinets, all Kohler, all GE product. You want to be in the building business? You know, one of the things I want to say, and we keep learning as we're going, as we're going. And I got to give special thanks to Dan Ryman, because he's, you know, I tell everybody, only God creates. And create, the definition of create is to make where there is nothing. Only God creates. You know, the rest of us copy. You know, And Dan and I have had a really great relationship. We met and we argued, and then we made friends, and we argued and made friends. We've always been friends. And I got to tell you, he's like a visionary. I tell everybody about him. The guy's like, I think I'm pretty good, but he's like, I have a hard time keeping. And my wife says, where are you going tonight? With Dan? I said, yeah, I'm with Dan again. You know, because he's enthusiastic about what he does, and I love what he does. The same thing with Mayor Kubunka. They love what they're doing, and the way I love what I do. But anyway, Danny said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to build 260 apartments. And you know what else we're going to do? We're going to put a restaurant there. And we're going to have an elevator going from the restaurant to the rooftop. And we're going to put a rooftop lounge in. Because I said, I said to Danny, Danny, this weed that's going to do this, who's paying for it? No, but he kicked it. But I said, but the bottom line is, so we built it, we designed it, we're proving it. As a matter of fact, Amboy Bank is going to fund it. But I'm thinking, I said, that's a good idea. Because the thing that these towns really, and I'm just speaking to one of your fellas that lives around here somewhere at the beginning of the thing, you need a vibe. You got to remember, we're gonna put a lot of people here. We're gonna do 175 apartments here. Across the street, probably another 175 apartments. A lot of young people with a lot of discretionary money that want to spend it and want to have people, And so one of the things we're going to come back to you and ask you is that if we can redesign phase 2 to create a restaurant and a lounge and a bar or whatever in there too, to accommodate the people so that we have a vibe. Because I think it's going to be something that that's going to benefit the town. You're going to have walking people, you'll have people riding the train, coming here, not just for the people in my building, but I think it'll be a catalyst to help you open up the whole town. And with that, we're doing it here, and thanks to Danny, we're doing it here, we're doing it in Hackensack, we're doing it in Bound Brook, and we're doing it every place we go, because where we're going is emerging areas. The place, like I said to you before, that no one's been, I mean, no one's really been there. Everybody knows the Hoboken, they know the Jersey City, they know. So we need to create something for these young people to do. They have to have something, and that's what we're, and that was a great idea, and I give him credit for it, and I thank him, and he's been an inspiration to me in a lot of ways, and I just wanted to, but I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I just want to thank you, for what you've done, and I know besides your children, your property is probably one of your children and your seniors is probably one of your greatest possessions that a town has, and I appreciate the fact that you guys have trusted us with, and we will get it done, and we'll get it done, and we'll rent it, and you'll have good people. And I tell you, we run a very high standard. I tell my daughters and the renting people are here. I'm going to tell you something. Here's my standard, and this may be politically incorrect. And here's my standard. I don't care if they've got an 800 credit score and they got $8,000 in their hand, want to put it down. If you don't want your mother riding that elevator with that person at 3 o'clock in the morning, don't rent it to them. Don't rent it to them. That's my stand. I don't care who if they don't look like the person you want your mother in that elevator with at 3 o'clock in the morning, don't rent it. I mean, and that's it. I don't care how I lose them, and that's important. I mean, because we're in the buildings. My daughters were all in these buildings. I mean, this is not like something we buy and sell. We've had to do that once because we had to dissolve partnership. But this is our mission is to hold and to develop this Meridia brand and to continually develop this. And we thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate it, and I just can't thank you enough for allowing us to be with you. Thank you.
George, thank you very much. I heard the meatballs are great, and there's some refreshments over here, so everybody enjoy it and catch the clip if you get a chance, and don't blink.